The ships appeared suddenly, without warning. Dark metallic hulls blotted out the sun as they hovered over major cities worldwide. For 3 days, they simply watched. On the 4th day, they attacked. Hannah Park stood on the rooftop of the Seoul Emergency Command Center, watching as another fighter jet exploded in midair, swatted down by invisible energy from the alien vessel. She gripped the railing until her knuckles turned white. "Commander Park, you're needed below," a voice called from behind her. Hannah turned to see her aide, Private Day. His uniform was wrinkled, eyes red from lack of sleep. Like everyone else, he had been awake for nearly 72 hours straight. "What's the latest casualty report?" she asked, following him down the stairs. "Bad. Very bad," Day replied. "The Americans lost Washington, D.C. an hour ago. London fell this morning. Our own forces are down to 20% capacity." The command center buzzed with frantic activity. Screens showed similar scenes from around the world, alien craft methodically destroying military bases, government buildings, and infrastructure. Not total destruction, Hannah noted. They were being precise. General Cohn looked up as she entered. "Commander Park. The president is dead. The emergency succession protocol puts you in charge of all remaining South Korean forces." Hannah felt the weight of those words settle on her shoulders. "Have we made any progress understanding their technology?" "None," replied Dr. Kim Tae-won, the lead scientist who had been analyzing the limited data they had collected. "Their shields absorb or deflect everything we throw at them. Conventional weapons, nuclear strikes, nothing works." 3 weeks later, the fighting had stopped. Not because humanity had won, but because there was no point continuing. The aliens, who called themselves the Dalek, had established complete dominance. Hannah watched from the window of what had once been a luxury apartment building, now converted to a Dalek command post. On the streets below, humans lined up to receive identification implants. Those who resisted disappeared. "They're sorting us," Dr. Kim whispered beside her. "Young, strong workers go to the mines. Scientists and engineers to research facilities. Everyone else to farming communes. Why not just kill us all?" Hannah asked. "Resources," Kim replied. "It's more efficient to use the local population than to bring in their own workers. Plus, I've been studying their communications. They answer to something called the Galactic Coalition. There seem to be rules about how conquered species can be treated." The Dalek occupation settled into routine. Humans worked 14-hour shifts mining rare minerals or farming food that was mostly shipped off-world. Guards with energy weapons patrolled the streets. Curfew violators vanished. Hannah found herself assigned to an underground mining operation outside the former city. Her military background had been wiped from records during the chaos of the invasion. Now she was just worker 47293. During her 3rd week in the mines, she noticed something. The Dalek guards always kept their distance from certain machinery, particularly the sonic drills. When the drills hit certain frequencies, the aliens seemed uncomfortable. That night, in the cramped worker barracks, she found Kim. He had managed to get assigned to a low-level technical position due to his knowledge of geology. "They have sensitive hearing," she whispered as they pretended to eat the tasteless protein rations. "The drills affect them somehow." Kim's eyes widened. "That matches something I saw in their medical facility. Their auditory systems are much more complex than ours. If we could create a focused sonic weapon." "We need more people," Hannah said. Over the next month, they carefully recruited others. June, a former communications expert now working in waste disposal. Min, once a pilot, now driving or transporters. Suk, a doctor forced to treat human workers to keep them productive. Their first meeting took place in an abandoned maintenance tunnel. 20 former soldiers, scientists, and engineers, the beginning of resistance. "They think they've broken us," Hannah told the group. "They think humans are just animals to be worked until we die. But they've made a mistake. They've left us alive." Dr. Kim revealed his discovery: their auditory systems operate on a different principle than ours. Certain sound frequencies don't just annoy them, they cause actual physical pain. With the right equipment, we might have a weapon they have no defense against. June spoke up. I can get access to their communication systems. They don't bother encrypting most transmissions because they think we're too primitive to understand. We start small, Hannah said. Gather information. Steal technology. Build our numbers. The Dalek think the war is over. She looked around at the determined faces. They're wrong. It's just beginning. As they dispersed, returning to their barracks before curfew, Hannah felt something she hadn't experienced since the invasion: hope. The aliens had superior technology and overwhelming force. But they had underestimated human resilience. And that would be their downfall. The Dalek outpost stood at the edge of the mining complex, a dark metal structure that gleamed under the moonlight. Four guards patrolled the perimeter, their attention focused outward, never expecting an attack. Hannah checked her watch and nodded to her team of 6. They had trained for this moment for weeks, using makeshift weapons and stolen equipment. Each wore dark clothing scavenged from worker uniforms. Remember, she whispered, we need that officer alive. Dr. Kim handed out the devices they had built in secret. Each looked like a small metal cylinder with a crude dial. Frequency level 3 should disable them without permanent damage. Level 5 will kill. They split into pairs and approached from different angles. Hannah moved with June, staying low and using the shadows for cover. When they reached position, she pressed the button on her communicator, 3 clicks, the signal to begin. The sonic disruptors activated simultaneously. A high-pitched whine filled the air, inaudible to human ears but devastating to the Daleks. The guards dropped instantly, their bodies convulsing. The team rushed forward, securing the fallen aliens with restraints made from mining cable. Security systems disabled, men called from the entrance panel. We have 20 minutes before the automatic check-in. Inside, they found what they needed: communication equipment, weapons, and best of all, a Dalek officer. When the sonic disruptor hit him, he had fallen against a console, knocking himself unconscious. They loaded the unconscious officer and as much equipment as they could carry onto a stolen transport and vanished into the night. By the time the alarm sounded, they were 5 kilometers away, hidden in an abandoned subway tunnel that had become their main base. 2 days later, the Dalek officer regained consciousness. He found himself secured to a chair in a dimly lit room. His translator device had been left in place. How primitive, he said when Hannah entered. His voice had a metallic quality through the translator. Do you expect me to provide information? I will die first. No one has to die, Hannah replied calmly. We just have questions. Dr. Kim entered with a sonic disruptor. This is currently set to level 2. Painful but not harmful. Level 4 causes internal bleeding. Shall we demonstrate? The Dalek's composure faltered. You cannot. Kim activated the device. The alien's body stiffened, his 4 eyes bulging in pain. Why are you keeping humans alive? Hannah asked when Kim switched it off. You could have wiped us out. The Dalek breathed heavily. The Galactic Coalition has laws. Genocide is forbidden. Species with sufficient development must be preserved. Preserved as slaves, Hannah noted. Resource management is permitted. Your species is classified as Type C development. Too advanced to exterminate, not advanced enough for full rights. Over the next hours, they learned crucial information. The Daleks were one of 12 species in the coalition. Their empire included 27 conquered worlds. Earth was considered a minor acquisition, valuable mainly for its mineral resources and location. Most importantly, they learned the Daleks feared coalition inspectors who occasionally verify treatment of subject species. This changes everything, Hannah told her expanded team later that night. 30 resistance members now crowded the main chamber. We're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting for evidence. If we can document Dalek abuses and contact the coalition, we might gain allies. June had been working with the captured communication equipment. "I've figured out their transmission protocols," he announced. "I can tap into their network without detection. Even better, I've found a way to send messages between our resistance cells." This was the breakthrough they needed. Within weeks, they established contact with resistance groups in North America, Europe, and Australia. Each shared what they had learned and the technologies they had developed. Dr. Kim made another discovery while studying the captured Dalek weapons. Their energy cells can be combined with Earth metals in ways they never anticipated. The combination creates a discharge that penetrates their shields. He demonstrated by firing a modified weapon at a piece of Dalek armor they had salvaged. The energy blast went straight through. "They designed their defenses against their own technology," Kim explained. "They never considered that we might adapt it differently." 3 months after their first raid, the resistance had grown to hundreds, then thousands. Small victories mounted, disrupted supply lines, sabotaged equipment, intercepted communications. Each success brought more recruits. The Daleks responded with increased security, but they couldn't be everywhere. Their confidence in their technological superiority had made them complacent. In their command center, Hannah surveyed the map showing resistance cells worldwide. For the first time since the invasion, humans were fighting back effectively. "They think they know us," she told her lieutenants. "They study our history, our weapons, our tactics. But they missed something important." "What's that?" asked Suk. Hannah smiled grimly. "Humans are at their most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose." Dr. Kim stood in the underground lab, holding up his latest creation. The weapon looked strange, part alien technology, part human ingenuity. He had connected a Dalek energy cell to a frame made of Earth metals, with wiring configurations that no Dalek engineer would ever consider. "It shouldn't work," he told Hannah and the others gathered around. "According to their technical manuals, this combination is impossible. The energy should destabilize immediately." "But it doesn't," Hannah said, studying the weapon. Kim nodded. "They never considered that their technology might function differently with our materials. Their science is advanced but rigid. They don't experiment like we do." Hannah hefted the hybrid weapon. It was lighter than it looked and hummed with energy. "How many can we make? With the materials we've collected from raids?" "About 200. Not enough to equip everyone, but enough for our strike teams." June entered the room, excitement visible on his usually calm face. "Commander, the communication network is ready. We can coordinate with all major resistance cells simultaneously." Hannah called her lieutenants together. For months, they had been planning a coordinated assault that would hit Dalek command centers on 3 continents at once. Now they finally had the means to execute it. "The North American team is ready," Min reported. "European cell confirms as well." "Then we move tonight," Hannah decided. As darkness fell, resistance fighters moved into position around the world. The plan was precise, simultaneous strikes at exactly 0200 hours, when Dalek shift changes created a brief vulnerability in their security protocols. Hannah led the Asian strike team personally. 50 fighters, each carrying conventional weapons and 10 with the new hybrid guns. Their target, the regional Dalek command center in what had once been downtown Seoul. They approached from underground, using the old subway tunnels that the aliens had largely ignored. Dalek sensors focused on detecting airborne or surface threats, not enemies coming from below. At exactly 0200, they emerged through maintenance hatches around the complex. The guards fell quickly to the sonic disruptors. Then came the real test of their new weapons. A patrol of elite Dalek soldiers detected the intrusion and rushed to respond, their shields activated. Hannah aimed her hybrid weapon and fired. The energy pulse struck the lead Dalek square in the chest. For a moment, nothing happened, then his shield flickered and collapsed, and the alien dropped to the ground. "It works," someone shouted. "The shields don't stop it." The battle was fierce but quick. The Daleks, confident in their defensive technology, had no fallback tactics when their shields failed. Within 20 minutes, the command center was under human control. June immediately began downloading data from the central computers while the team secured the area. "Commander, you need to see this. I'm intercepting reports from the other attack sites. North America and Europe were also successful." For the first time in over a year, humans had dealt the invaders a significant defeat. But more important than the tactical victory was the psychological impact. Reports flooded in over the captured communication network of Dalek units in disarray, confused by weapons that shouldn't exist. One intercepted message from a Dalek commander particularly caught Hannah's attention: "The humans adapt in ways we cannot predict. They combine technologies in defiance of established principles. Exercise extreme caution in all encounters." They had done more than win a battle, they had planted the seeds of doubt in the enemy's mind. The following weeks saw a dramatic shift in the war. Resistance cells worldwide launched hit-and-run attacks using the new weapons. The Daleks responded by pulling back to fortified positions, abandoning smaller outposts. In their underground headquarters, expanded now to accommodate hundreds of fighters, Hannah studied the reports with her team. "They're confused," Sook observed. "Their entire strategy was based on technological superiority. Now they don't know what to do." Dr. Kim had continued improving their weapons. "The latest version can disable their ships too. Same principle, their shields aren't designed to stop these hybrid energy signatures." The most significant breakthrough came when they raided Labor Camp 12. The facility, hidden deep in the mountains, was rumored to be some kind of research center. What they found horrified even the battle-hardened resistance fighters. Hundreds of humans were confined in small cells, subjected to painful experiments. The Daleks had been studying human physiology, testing pain thresholds and adaptive responses. Many prisoners were near death, their bodies modified in terrible ways. Hannah ordered immediate evacuation of all survivors. As news of the discovery spread via captured Dalek communication systems that the Resistance now controlled, public outrage fueled the movement. Thousands of workers who had previously accepted their fate now joined the Resistance. "This changes everything," Hannah told her commanders that night. "We're not just fighting for freedom anymore. We're fighting to stop an atrocity." She looked at the expanded map showing Resistance-controlled areas. For the first time, there were more green zones than red. "The Daleks think they understand humans from their studies and experiments," she said. "But they missed something fundamental. They never realized what happens when humans unite against a common enemy." From scared prisoners to determined fighters, the tide had turned. The Daleks were no longer the hunters, they had become the hunted. The captured Dalek shuttle sat in the underground hangar, its dark metallic skin reflecting the work lights. Engineers and technicians swarmed around it, making final modifications under Dr. Kim's supervision. They had spent weeks studying its systems, learning how to operate it, and most importantly, how to mask its signature from Dalek detection systems. Hannah walked around the craft, inspecting the changes. The shuttle wasn't large, designed to transport about 15 Dalek soldiers, but it would be enough for their mission. The most ambitious operation yet, an attack on the orbital command platform that controlled all Dalek forces in Asia. "Are you sure about this?" Min asked. The former Air Force pilot had been training for weeks in a simulator they had built based on stolen Dalek flight data. "Once we're up there, there's no quick escape." "We need what's on that platform," Hannah replied. "Complete access to their communication network. If we're going to broadcast evidence of their violations to the Galactic Coalition, we need to do it from there." The team gathered for final briefing 12 of their best fighters, plus June for communications, Dr. Kim for technical support, and Min as pilot. Each carried a hybrid weapon and war armor pieced together from captured Dalek equipment and human materials. "Remember the mission objectives," Hannah told them. "Secure the communication hub, download evidence of Dalek atrocities, and broadcast it on all Coalition frequencies. Secondary objective, sabotage the platform's weapons systems to prevent them from firing on Resistance-controlled areas." They boarded the shuttle as night fell. Min took the pilot's seat, his hands moving confidently over the alien controls. The craft hummed to life, hovering silently in the hangar. "Access codes ready," June said from the communication station. We'll have 30 seconds to transmit them when they challenge us. The hangar doors slid open, revealing the night sky. Min eased the shuttle upward, accelerating smoothly into the darkness. No one spoke as they climbed higher, passing through clouds, then the thin upper atmosphere, until finally, the blackness of space surrounded them. There it is, Min said quietly. Through the forward viewport, they saw the orbital platform, a massive structure of metal and energy fields, bristling with weapons and communication arrays. Several Dalek ships docked at various points around its perimeter. Incoming transmission, June reported. They're asking for identification. Send the codes, Hannah ordered. June transmitted the security codes they had stolen during their last raid. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a mechanical voice responded, Shuttle DK-479, you are cleared for Docking Bay 3. Collective relief filled the cabin. The first hurdle cleared. Min guided the shuttle toward the designated bay, matching speeds perfectly with the rotating platform. With a soft thud, they connected to the docking mechanism. Pressurization complete, Dr. Kim announced. Atmosphere normal. Hannah checked her weapon. Form up. Remember, quick and quiet until we reach the command deck. The team moved efficiently through the airlock and into the platform. They encountered 2 guards immediately but dropped them with silenced hybrid weapons before they could raise an alarm. June quickly accessed a terminal and downloaded the station layout. Command deck is 3 levels up, he whispered. There's a service lift that should bypass the main checkpoints. They moved through the station like shadows, eliminating resistance where necessary. The Daleks aboard the platform were mostly technicians rather than soldiers, unprepared for close-quarters combat. Still, alarms eventually sounded. They know we're here, Dr. Kim said as they approached the command deck. Security lockdown in progress. Then we fight our way through, Hannah replied. The final push to the command center was brutal. The team lost 3 fighters but finally breached the heavily guarded doors. Inside, they found what they needed, the central communication hub that connected to every Dalek ship and facility on Earth and throughout the sector. June immediately began working at the main console while the others secured the area and tended to the wounded. I've got access, he announced after several tense minutes. Downloading evidence files now, the experiments, the labor camps, everything. On screens around the command center, they could see chaos unfolding below. Resistance forces worldwide had launched coordinated attacks on Dalek strongholds the moment the orbital platform was secured. The hybrid weapons, now produced in greater numbers, were devastating against the unprepared aliens. Ready to broadcast, June said. Hannah nodded. Send it. Every channel, every frequency the Coalition uses. The message went out, not just evidence of atrocities, but proof that the Daleks had violated 17 specific Coalition laws regarding treatment of developing species. They included footage from Labor Camp 12, testimony from survivors, and detailed documentation of illegal experiments. Dr. Kim monitored Dalek communication channels as the broadcast continued. They're panicking, he reported. Lower-level commanders are questioning orders. Some ships are breaking formation. From their vantage point in orbit, they watched as Dalek forces around the world fell into disarray. Some continued fighting, others retreated to defensive positions, and a few simply abandoned their posts. It's working, Min said quietly. They're fracturing. Hannah watched the screens showing battles across the globe. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens were truly on the defensive, not just tactically, but morally. Their crimes exposed, their authority questioned, their confidence shattered. This isn't just a military victory, she told her team. This is the beginning of the end. Supreme Commander Riel paced the bridge of his flagship, for eyes blinking rapidly in what his officers recognized as extreme agitation. Reports flooded in from all sectors, defeat after defeat, outposts overrun, ships disabled by weapons that shouldn't exist. How is this possible, he demanded. They were primitive. Contained. Their resistance should have been crushed months ago. His second-in-command approached cautiously. Supreme Commander, the Coalition Council has acknowledged receipt of the human broadcast. They are dispatching investigators immediately. Riel slammed his fist on the console. The humans had done the unthinkable, not only fought back effectively but exposed the Daleks' violations of coalition law to the galactic community. The carefully hidden experiments, the illegal mining operations, the excessive force, all revealed. Order all forces to withdraw from Earth orbit, he finally said. We will regroup at Outpost Sigma and prepare our defense for the Council hearing. Withdraw, sir? Completely? Would you prefer to explain to the Council inspectors why we're still here after those broadcasts? Riel snapped. Execute the order immediately. On Earth, Hannah and her team watched from the orbital platform as the massive Dalek fleet began to move. Ship after ship broke orbit, forming up to depart the system. They're really leaving, Min whispered, as if speaking too loudly might change what they were seeing. Not all the alien ships joined the retreat. 3 cruisers remained behind, surrounded by resistance fighters and captured shuttles. These vessels had been disabled during the final battles, their engines damaged beyond quick repair. Perfect targets, Dr. Kim said, studying the sensor readings. Intact Dalek technology, ripe for study. Within hours, human teams had boarded the stranded ships. The remaining Dalek crews surrendered without resistance, aware that the coalition would be arriving soon and further violence would only worsen their legal position. 2 weeks passed in a flurry of activity. The resistance, now effectively Earth's interim government, worked to dismantle Dalek control systems and free the remaining labor camps. Regional leaders emerged, coordinating recovery efforts through the communication network June had established. Then, exactly 17 days after the Dalek retreat, new ships appeared in orbit. Unlike the dark, angular Dalek vessels, these were sleek and gleaming, marked with the emblem of the Galactic Coalition. The first diplomatic meeting took place in what had once been the United Nations headquarters in New York. Representatives from 3 coalition species met with human leaders from around the world. The evidence you provided is compelling, said the lead investigator, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin. The Dalek Empire has clearly violated numerous regulations regarding developing worlds. We're hardly a developing world anymore, Hannah pointed out. She had been selected to speak for the Asian Coalition of Nations. We've adapted your technology, beaten back your most aggressive member species, and made contact independently. By your own laws, that qualifies us for provisional independent status. The coalition representatives exchanged glances. That would be unprecedented for a species at your technological level, one said. So was our victory, Dr. Kim replied calmly. After hours of discussion, the coalition conceded the point. Earth would be granted provisional independence, with protection from further Dalek aggression and reparations for the damage caused. 6 months later, a new ship stood ready for launch from the rebuilt Kennedy Space Center. Sleeker than any human vessel but incorporating elements of Earth design alongside adapted Dalek technology, it represented humanity's first purpose-built interstellar diplomatic craft. Hannah stood on the observation deck, watching final preparations. She wore a formal uniform designed for her role as Earth's first ambassador to the coalition. Nervous? Dr. Kim asked, joining her at the window. As head of the New Earth Technology Integration Division, he would be accompanying the mission. A little, she admitted. A year ago I was fighting just to survive another day. Now we're taking our place among the stars. June approached with a data tablet. Latest intelligence from Coalition Space, he reported. The Daleks have been sanctioned heavily. Their expansion has been halted, and they've been ordered to withdraw from 3 other worlds where similar violations were discovered. And the other species? Hannah asked. Watching us very carefully, June said with a slight smile. Particularly after our engineers improved the efficiency of coalition standard drives by 30% using our primitive approaches. The final boarding call came over the speakers. As they walked toward the shuttle that would take them to the ship, Hannah paused for one last look at Earth from the large observation window. The planet was healing, rebuilding. Humanity had not just survived, it had emerged stronger, more united. You know what the coalition representatives fear most, she said to her companions. It's not that we'll become a threat. It's that other subjugated species will follow our example. Dr. Kim nodded. They should be worried. The Daleks made a fundamental mistake that the Coalition is now repeating. What's that? Asked June. They judged us by their standards, Hannah answered. They measured our technology, our weapons, our apparent capabilities. But they never understood our greatest strength. As they boarded the shuttle that would take them to the diplomatic vessel, the three humans shared a knowing look. The aliens had never grasped that when pushed to the edge of extinction, humans didn't just fight back, they evolved, adapted, and transformed. And now, that uniquely human trait was about to reshape the galaxy.